Thank you. Every now and then it is, but most of the time it's cut and paste. It's good to be, have the team, everybody. The programs are great, and it really helps. Good food today. Oh yeah. I'm on that low carb thing, so I can have that. It's always a challenge for me. Thank you.
So let me ask you this question.
Dottie Dawson and Matthew Webster. Matthew Webster. And that's just what I know. If they're tuning into YouTube, there's no way we can. Hi, are you the program? Do you have a PowerPoint? Excellent. Oh, she was still good.
I'm sorry? No, I don't.
Excellent.
Yes, I never touched
Makes it
technology,
easier.
so I fly without.
That's the best way to do it.
So you can see YouTube channel.
Yes.
They broadcast from his smartphone.
Oh, okay, all
So
right.
as you're speaking,
I'll try not to wander.
well, if you do, it'll jump up and he'll start calling.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
all right, right. So
And if you want to share it, you can just go to where you see the YouTube news start and automatically make a share point for it.
okay, fantastic.
And then I'll take some photos.
We are. It's good, but it's a lot. So, you know, but that's fine. Well, we're nine right
So more of the tenants. I see Frank is on and Kathy is on.
Frank Schneider?
Yes.
You saw him.
Yeah, Kathy Schneider.
So you can finish, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
How you doing, sir?
What?
We're doing a raffle today.
And that's Frank, and, Schneider, and Kathy's on.
Evidently, he had two men in a truck show up at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, got him in a little trouble. So we'll see how that works out. Carrie, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Few announcements. If you volunteered at the fair, or if you have done any volunteer work for Rotary, please let us know so we can get that logged into DACTV and track all of the volunteer hours that our club does. If you have an idea for a speaker, let Dawn know. We're looking for some ideas. September 30th is the annual golf outing. I don't know that, do we have any updates on the golf outing or not yet? All right, so next week, look for more information. Eastern Kentucky flood relief, the Pikeville Rotary Club has taken the lead on that in Eastern Kentucky. They do now on their website have online donations that they can take. I've been seeing some pictures from the library side. I can tell you that the Knott County Public Library is basically destroyed. It's gone. I saw some pictures today of what that looked like and how they're trying to get up and running in a church that was not hit. And by the way, the library was not anywhere in the floodplain. So it was way above it. New Perceptions is our third quarter community service partners. So if you are looking to do donations, we can take those donations today. Also back at the table, we are having a raffle today, $5 for a chance to win a $25 Kroger gift certificate. August is Rotary International Membership Month, so please invite people to join us at our meetings on Monday. And then I would like to invite Adriana up to talk about the scholarship.
And thank you. Like I said, fellow Rotarians, I am crashing your agenda a little bit, so I promise to keep it super brief. I've been speaking with Dwayne Frolicker. Am I saying his last name correctly? Dwayne reached out to me saying that you are wanting to honor a fellow Rotarian who passed recently, Mr. John Salyers, and that you had given out scholarships as part of your club's activity, but that this was sort of a special effort you're putting together. And so I just wanted to tell you on behalf of students who started semester today, there's about 4,000 of them at Gateway today. It's a little hectic, but in a good way. You are helping those folks cross that finish line. And so I talked to Dwayne a little bit about whether or not your club knew what you wanted to emphasize in the scholarship, so the potential recipient. And what he mentioned to me, and again, it could still be tailored to your needs, would be to really place an emphasis on a student who might be in their last semester before their program completion. So sort of be part of that last leg of success. And so I had drafted with him a very simple one-page memorandum of understanding. So it guides our administration of your scholarship. Should I get hit by a bus, someone else knows where to kind of pick that up and go. And then also just that the student who receives the scholarship will be coming to a club meeting, saying thank you. We'll write a thank you note, just basic things like that. We did not put any restrictions on the type of program that the student will pursue. So if it's a technical versus a gen ed, if there is interest on a specific track, we can do that as well. So what he has right now is very drafty draft, as Lacey will probably appreciate. So able to be changed, and I hope that you do. And we still have plenty of time to award that scholarship in the fall semester. The other thing Dwayne asked me to talk about really quickly, he had mentioned that you have either fundraised already or plan to fundraise, continue to fundraise for substantial funds to kind of continue the scholarship efforts. And one thing I mentioned to him, which again, could be a longer conversation with whoever is appropriate on your end, but as part of KCTCS, Kentucky Community and Technical College System, Gateway is one of 16 colleges in the network. So each of those community colleges serve a particular community. We have an option of matching a gift that is in excess of $50,000 or more. So one-to-one match. So if your club wanted to establish an endowment, and again, an endowment being the intent is perpetuity. There's a scholarship here until Gateway no longer exists. And none of us are in this room, but there will be a scholarship. That is something that your club can explore. I can help staff that, hopefully make it as painless administratively as possible. But it is an option that I wanted to offer up to your members, and happy to answer questions about it. Or if he charges me with more questions from you as you've had time to think about it, I'm happy to come back with more information. So can I answer any questions sort of right off the bat? No. Again, just thank you. And I would say, and I mean this sincerely, it's the honor of my life to work with folks like you who choose to honor a life this way. We should all be so lucky to have a tribe like this to honor a legacy. So when folks approach us in that manner, please know it's not taken lightly, and you will be changing lives. So thank you so much.
All right. Happy dollars. For those of you who do not remember, the club will take $1 for any happiness that you want to spread in the world among our group here. And I know.
So my two Ryle Marching Raiders will be going back to school starting on Thursday. So this will be the last opportunity that they have. Maybe, I don't know if we meet on Columbus Day or not, but it'll be the last opportunity that they have to attend a Rotary meeting. My son Christopher, who's a rising senior at Ryle, and my daughter Sabrina, who is in 8th grade at Gray, but both of them are going to be marching with the Ryle Marching Band. And Christopher wanted to share a few things with you, and then they would like to take just a few minutes, play a little concert for you, give you a preview. So, hi there, everyone. Like you said, I'm Chris Howard. So, as a part of the Ryle High School Marching Band, we are one of the best bands in the state. We're very lucky to have all the opportunities and all the instructors that we have through the program. But as you can imagine, it costs quite a bit of money throughout the year. So a couple times throughout our marching band season, throughout the school year, we do a couple fundraisers. And so during August, we're doing a fundraiser called the Calendar Fundraiser, where for each of the days through August, you can sponsor a day. So if you wanted to sponsor today, the 15th, it would be like a $15 to sponsor the 15th or $16 to sponsor the 16th and so on. And so Sabrina and I thought we would come and share a little bit of what that sponsorship would help and what it would teach us to be able to do. So here's a little bit of our marching band show, our part 1 and 2. So thank you very much. If you'd like to come and talk to us about our fundraiser, we'll be over here. August 10th has been taken, Gary Stewart, so your birthday has been covered, but August 11th and 9th are still available if you're interested in participating. Just wanted you to, August 11th, well, it's still available on this calendar.
Yeah. All right. As a former marching band student from Scott High School Eagles, I recognize all the work that went into that. So thank you. I was going to say, anybody else have a happy dollar?
Happy Pleasant Valley Road open.
All right. Anybody else have a happy buck that you want to share something? No? All right. Get this back there. Well, then Adam is going to introduce our speaker.
It's my pleasure to introduce Lacey Starling to you. Lacey is an entrepreneur, a writer and speaker. an educator, a mentor, and a fierce advocate for women in entrepreneurship. She's a recipient of the EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Cincinnati Business Courier's 40 Under 40, and was named to the Dean's List of Teaching Excellence 4 times at the University of Cincinnati. Lacey's previous company, Legion Logistics, grew from a one-woman startup in her basement in Union, Kentucky, to a $26 million company headquartered in Newport. In 2021, Lacey sold her stake in Legion Logistics and returned to her roots in journalism to serve as founding president and CEO of Link Media, LLC, a multimedia news organization located in Northern Kentucky. So it's a pleasure to have Lacey Starling come and speak to us and tell us the story of Link. Would you please welcome Lacey?
Thank you so much,
My
Al.
pleasure.
Okay, normally I wander when I talk, but I'm going to try to stay in one place so the YouTube catches me, I guess. And whoever did this low angle camera thing, not a fan. My husband is 6'4", and when I met him, he would take all of his pictures from down here, and I'm like, babe, you have a natural height advantage, high angle all the time for the selfies. Let's do it. So thank you so much for having me here today. I am also a fellow Rotarian. I just joined the Covington Rotary. I went there to speak, and they wouldn't let me leave until I joined. So they have a way of barricading the doors and making us stick around. But I'm very excited to be here today to talk about Link, because Boone County in particular is one of the areas where we're really trying to grow our audience and our exposure. So a little bit about the history of Link. Has anyone not heard of us? It's okay if you haven't. Okay. Okay, great. All right, fantastic. That's okay. We're trying to reach more folks. So Link Media has been in existence since October 27th of last year. And we are we like to say we're not a startup, we're a rev up. So our organization was formed and acquired the River City News and Fort Thomas Matters, which were 2 previous digital news organizations that existed. Fort Thomas Matters really covered Campbell County and Fort Thomas, obviously. The River City News covered the River Cities and Kenton County and some of Florence, but nobody was really covering Boone County. And I know this because I lived here for 12 years and I never knew what was going on anywhere because there was no news. A group of concerned citizens in Northern Kentucky spent about 2.5 years debating what was the best way to fill this gap that existed. Once the Kentucky Post closed down 15 years ago, there was really no one giving the type of coverage that Northern Kentucky needed. And we are, and this is something that Senator Schickel and Judge Moore know for sure, we are 3 counties, 36 municipalities, 17 school districts, plus other schools, and no one was covering what was happening here. 406,000 people without a reliable single source to go to find out what was happening in your municipality, in your school, with your elected officials. Nothing. I don't know if have any of you picked up the Kentucky Inquirer lately? I'm going to put Kentucky in quotation marks. A couple Sundays ago, I was out for a walk. I live in Covington now, and I was out for a walk and stopped in Roebling Point Books, and I picked up the Sunday Kentucky Inquirer, little oppositional research, right? And I paid $4.49 at the newsstand, and it was this thick. Most of that was, ads and inserts, but it's this thick. And there was one story in there about Kentucky, not about Northern Kentucky, about Kentucky. It was about abortion access in the state, right? Important issue. But it did not tie to what was happening here in Northern Kentucky. And that made me kind of mad because this is the organization that's supposed to be covering us, right? So it spoke to this mission. So this group of individuals from Northern Kentucky University, the 1NKY Alliance, some retired folks, Rich Bainey from the Scripps organization, got together and spent about 2 years debating what would be the best way to do this. Be the best way to cover Northern Kentucky. Do we need a PR firm to talk about all the wonderful things that are happening here? And thankfully, they dismissed that idea because we don't need more PR firms. What we need is news. And they gave me a call a little over a year ago when I was exiting my logistics business. And they said, we need somebody to serve as the president and CEO of this new organization. Would you write the business plan? Would you find the investors? Can you stand this thing up? And that investment pitch was a hoot, let me tell you, because I went to people and I said, would you invest? I don't promise you any returns. Can I have your money, which I promise not to waste, but the profits will not be returned to you. And that is our foundation. We're a for-profit, but I joke that we're actually a for break even because we reinvest any profitability that we have back into the organization to help us grow. In my original business plan, I thought that we would end 2022 with about 7 employees. We currently have 9, and I'm hiring 4 more. So we're going to have 13 full-time staff and about 20 contributors who are part-time writing and creating content for us. So officially, the largest news organization in Northern Kentucky. It's a low bar, I know, but better than 1, right? So that's how far we've come in less than a year. And the way that we're organized, when I'm in front of business organizations, I always like to talk about our structure because I find it very interesting. So we have our for-profit entity, our LLC, that's set up where we have some investors and we have a managing board. We have 3 investors who've invested in the company, David Heydrich, Bill Butler, and Tony Milburn. And then we have 4 community organizations. And those organizations are really there to keep everybody honest. Because if our promise is that we're not going to return profits to investors, those 4 community organizations that don't have money invested can be there to be that stopgap just in case Tony Milburn suddenly decides he wants to make a ton of profit off this. I make that joke because when I first pitched this to Tony, he said, good luck finding your sucker. And it turned out it was him. Yeah. So those 4 community organizations are the Northern Kentucky Chamber, the 1NKY Alliance, the Horizon Community Funds, and Northern Kentucky University. So 4 organizations that are committed to the growth and development of Northern Kentucky. And in addition to our for-profit side, we also have a fiscal sponsor. The Horizon Fund serves as a fiscal sponsor for us. So we have a fund at the Horizon Funds called the Northern Kentucky Community Journalism Fund. And that is a fund that folks can donate to and receive all the benefits of a tax-deductible charitable donation. And that money is specifically held for very targeted spend. So I write grants, right, to that, and I can only spend it on public interest journalism. So my salary, my sales staff salary, our rent, our operating expenses, none of that can be paid out of the Community Journalism Fund. So every dollar that's donated to that goes right to reporting for the community. So it's a really great way for folks who want to support the mission and the reporting to feel as though they are dollar for dollar supporting the salaries of our reporters, our election coverage that we did this year, which was fully comprehensive. We covered every single race that happened in the primary. We're going to do the same thing in the general. We had candidate forums, which folks could participate in. Senator Schickel, you were in one of our candidate forums. And we wanted to bring coverage of the election back, particularly because I feel like this was a momentous year for campaigns in Northern Kentucky. But that's our structure. That's how we're set up. And we also have an editorial board. The editorial board is a group of citizens from Northern Kentucky, people who don't have financial interest in us and they don't have financial oversight, but they are there to make sure that we are covering the community in the way that it needs to be covered. So Rich Bainey is the chair of our editorial board. I'm very lucky. I have the who's who of people who know how to get things done in Northern Kentucky in my corner, which this is the first time I've ever had a board that I've had to report to in my entrepreneurial career. It was very different, but I couldn't have asked for a better board than the one that I have. And then we just have folks from all corners of Northern Kentucky who come together once a month, look at the coverage and say, did we get it right? Did we give people the opportunity to express their opinion? Are we covering issues neutrally? Are we covering them fairly? Are we giving everybody a chance to express their opinion and to get the information that they need in order to make decisions? Northern Kentucky, Boone County in particular, is growing so quickly. Just this morning, or I guess it was yesterday, we ran a story that by 2050, Boone County is set to eclipse Kenton County by population. That's the projection. And I think in our lifetimes, Florence will be the largest city in Northern Kentucky. I don't think there's any question about that. It will get bigger than Covington. This is where the action is happening, right? So we want to make sure that we're talking about the issues that are important so that we as a community can make decisions. One of the issues, and I know Judge Moore has heard this a lot, is people saying, well, why weren't we asked? Why didn't we have an opportunity to give our opinion? Well, they always were. There are public meetings, but where did people find out about those? They were posted the way they were supposed to be. But one of the things that we've started doing, and Caitlin Gebbe, who is our Boone County reporter, has started publishing a weekly rundown of here's where all the public meetings are this week in all 3 counties, so that folks can engage civically. That may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing if more people show up and shout. But it provides folks that opportunity to say, oh, okay, there's a planning and zoning meeting coming up this week, and they're going to be addressing that warehouse that I don't want in my neighborhood. So I'm going to go and, you know, participate in the public comment. It's things like that that help stitch our community together. And that's what we're committed to, is really dealing with the nitty gritty of city and municipal and county government so that folks know, how do they participate? Adam and I were talking before the program started about how, you know, Boone County is one of, if not the fastest growing county in the state. I think it flips, it flips back and forth a little bit. And that's not because of your birth rate down here, right? That's because of folks coming into the region. Well, how do they integrate? How do they start to participate in the conversation that's happening around development, around growth, schools, libraries, all of that? Well, they do that by having a place where they can find out the information about what's going on, what's happened in the past, what's proposed for the future. And that's our mission. Our mission is truly to bring that information to as many people as possible across Northern Kentucky, but also in Frankfort, also in Cincinnati. If the only reason that the media ever shows up in particularly Covington, where I live, is because there's a car crash or a shooting, what does that tell the region about us? What kind of perception does that give Cincinnati of us? And that's what we got. We had the major news stations and the newspaper parachuting in whenever there was something bad happening, or to report on the Brent Spence Bridge, right? And there are more bridges that we need to talk about. The Brent Spence is important, but there are other ones too. And there are more issues than that we need to talk about. So that's really what we're driving toward. We're digital first, and our digital is free. Nothing irritates me more than to see a story about Northern Kentucky on Cincinnati.com and to click on it and see that there's a paywall. What really killed me was their affordable housing story that they just published that was behind a paywall. Do you think that the folks who live in affordable housing can afford to pay $16.99 for a subscription to the Cincinnati Enquirer online? They can't. And that was our commitment when we started, was that we want to provide this information for everyone, regardless of their access to technology or their ability to pay. So the ability to pay is not putting things behind a paywall. We take advertisements. All of our advertisements are local. We don't use Google Ads. We don't sell anybody's data. We don't even collect data. There's none of that except cookies on our website, because we don't do cookies. Don't want it, don't want your data. All of our advertisers are just local folks who are looking to get in front of a local audience. On the access to technology side, we have a print publication. And I will tell you that the only thing that was harder than getting people to give me their money when I promised them I wouldn't give it back was telling folks that we were going to have a print publication, because print is dead. So we've been mailing out every other month to every single home in Northern Kentucky, 164,000 copies of the Link Reader. And it covers different issues. Our most recent issue was the education issue. And I've handed out all my free copies at this point, so I don't even have one to show you as, as a demo. But if you live in Northern Kentucky, you should have received it. And if you didn't, I swear it's not my fault, it's the post office. I get more angry emails, but that means people want it. Like when I get an angry email from somebody that says I didn't receive my copy, I am happy to like individually deliver it to them, because it means that they want the news. We are switching to a different publication schedule this fall, and I can't talk a ton about it because it's still under wraps, but it will also be subscription based. So we will have a subscription based print publication, but everything on the website will still be free. And the subscription won't be that expensive, I promise. It's not $16.99 a month. So So that is how we have gotten that news out. We also have audio product. We have some video product. We do Facebook Lives. A lot of our election coverage was Facebook Live events so that folks could see it. We don't want to put any barriers in between the citizens of Northern Kentucky and the news that they need in order to make good decisions about what they're doing and what's happening in their community. And like I said, we're growing. We are in the midst of another capital raise right now in order to fund expansion of our print product for a couple of reasons. If you're interested in investing, remember, you don't get your money back, but I'm happy to talk to you about that individually. We are also always seeking donations for the Northern Kentucky Community Journalism Fund, which if you have some charitable dollars that you're itching to use for, good reporting in the community, that's a great way to make that happen. And again, all of those dollars go toward reporting. None of it can go toward overheads or administration, which having worked at United Way, when I first moved to Cincinnati, I know that was one of the first questions I was always asked is what percentage of my donation goes to overhead? For us, it's zero. I think it's really important for all of us to consider what the loss of local news did to our community and how important it is to bring that back here. And I think it's a workable model. Gannett laid off hundreds of people last week. Gannett is the owner of the Cincinnati Enquirer. I don't think there were any layoffs here in Cincinnati. They've already stripped it pretty bare, but other markets around the country, they shut down the only local paper. The Enquirer is who owns the Boone, Kenton, and Campbell County Recorders, and they shut those down earlier this year as well. We are trying to step into that gap for people who depended on that publication for their news, their information, their public notices, all of those things that vanished when the Enquirer decided that those papers should go away. And that's really what's driving us forward as an organization and driving us to grow as well. It's been an exhilarating first 8 months and has gone far better than I anticipated. And I think that's the piece that large media organizations are missing. There is a hunger for news at the local level, and people are willing to pay for it. Last week, I checked the mail at the office, and a woman in Union had mailed me a $5 check. And she said, I miss holding the newspaper, but I appreciate the news. So she just sent me $5. Okay. I cried a little. That was pretty moving to me that this person decided to do that. But people are willing to do that. When we open up our donations on our site, which we do from time to time, we've done some beta testing. Folks will sign up. They'll pay $20 a month for our digital news, which just blows me away. It goes to show that there is a workable model for local journalism if you aren't sending all of your money to corporate. If you aren't paying a CEO $7.5 or $10 million, I don't make that, right? When you keep the money local and when you work hard to make sure that all of that profit gets turned back into better reporting and more reporting, folks are willing to chip in. And that is what's going to help us grow as well. So I would encourage you to let people know. So I'm glad you were here today so you could hear about it. It's linknky.com. And tell people in Boone County that this exists, that if they're interested in coverage of the city of Florence or Union or Walton, Burlington, Hebron, all those places and everything in between, they can find their news there. And we are independent and we are neutral. Our opinions do not matter. Nobody wants to hear them. We do not have opinion writers. We don't have editorials. We're here to report the news. We've made people on both sides angry, which means we're doing our job. We get angry emails from people on the left and the right, people in the middle. Some people, I don't know what their political affiliations are. They're just angry. But that tells me that we're doing our job, that we are staying neutral and we are staying independent. So if you have folks who are hungry for that, please tell them to check it out and see what we're doing. I always like to spend a little bit of time though. Do you have a question, Senator Schickel?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I do always like to bring value too. So I come here and I talk about me and I talk about our organization, but I always like to bring a little bit of value too. But Senator Schickel, I'll address your question because this sort of takes us into a different direction. So.
Well, it's not really
emphasize, how important local is. The Boone County Board of Flood, years history, kind of a sad day. It's done very unceremoniously, but it's a very, very sad day. I can tell you, a state senator, that even before that, in public service, that the Boone County reporter, probably not the last 4 or 5 years, before that was a conduit to the community. If your son or daughter was a Frankfurt, their picture was the county reporter. Your daughter was being engaged, there's a picture of her in the county reporter. One blue ribbon, measures the fair, there's a picture of the county reporter. Now, I've been, oh, you know, it's, this stuff is important.
Yes.
Very important. So I'm very thankful to your organization, to Michael and all the other people that really at some risk themselves got out there and did this, as well as, and I know that maybe you're better up the Lord Protecting Community doing the job also. Those two organizations, you're not the Boone County Reporter, and you're not coming out every week, but you're trying, and I really do appreciate that because it's very, very, very important. I still subscribe to the technique part, but I'm one of the few people, and I can tell you how pathetic it is. Because I love newspapers, and I'm kind of like addicted to a daily newspaper, but it is total garbage from not only, I think, from a Kentucky standpoint, but even a Cincinnati standpoint. It's awful. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Keep up the good work. If there's anyone who can help, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Senator. And I'll say I grew up in a very small town, and the weekly newspaper publisher was part of that fabric, right? So I was in cross country and the musicals and speech and debate, and every Monday he was at the school taking pictures of all the kids who had won a race or won a trophy or any of that. It is part of the history of a community. It's part of the fabric of what weaves us together. Who has the biggest watermelon at the Boone County Fair? It's okay. That is important stuff, right? We look back as historians on previous generations, and what do? We go to the library and we pull up the microfiche and we look at editions of the newspaper from historical time. And it tells us about what's important to the community, who was there, what held them together. And we do want to be that resource, and we try to, and we do need more reporters in order to cover all of that. But it is absolutely part of our goal, because I think that that is just so critical in a time of really fragmented everything, that we find that commonality of, hey, my kid is also on the cross country team or in the marching band, and here are the awards that they've won, and here are the graduating seniors, and you know, all of this information that exists in a community. Absolutely, it is important. Does anyone else have questions about us or Adriana? Right, yes, we will be evolving into that, yes. And so don't worry, we're we're going to be talking about how we're going to do that. Absolutely, yes. We have had plenty of guest columns. Folks send them to us all the time. We do have some standards about that. You know, we want to make sure that verifiable facts and those sorts of things we have that published on our site, but we publish opinion pieces all the time from folks outside. 750, I think, is the limit, maybe 500. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead and look on the website. There's in our About Us section, there's op-eds and letters to the editor. Nobody writes letters to the editor anymore, but if they did, we'd be ready. Did I see a hand over here? Yes. Yeah, it's a challenge. Mark Nykirk and I sat down, he was the editor of the Kentucky Post. We sat down when this first started and he said, at its height, the Kentucky Post had 225 employees. And after I'd stopped crying, I said, you know what, Mark, we're going to start where we can and we're going to get better. Having a lot of contributors really helps. So yes, we have 9 people in the office, but having 20 people out there who may only cover Bromley. They may go to the Bromley City Commission meeting, and forgive me if it's a council. I can never remember which ones are councils and which ones are commissions. That's why I'm not a reporter. But they may only go there and then report on that, right? So we have some folks who are sort of very targeted in different communities. And then there are places like California that has 98 people that it's very difficult to prioritize. And I feel like that's more of an issue for Judge Moore and his fellow judges executive to deal with. But yes, it is a challenge, but you try to hit as many as you can. You try to find the places that are facing big decisions. So Silver Grove, when they dissolved their school district, would we have covered Silver Grove a ton? No, but Michael at the River City News did cover the dissolution of the school district because that's a big issue. And so we try to get in there and understand as best we can. But the solution for that is for us to just continue to find more funding and hire more people. And I wouldn't call our reporters highly paid, but we pay enough and offer benefits, and we try to be a good workplace for them. The number of journalism jobs that exist out there are very few. So there's a lot of talent to be found, and we just try to find the good ones and reward them for their work. Other questions?
It's really important. And what's really interesting lately, you said for instance, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. Well, they lost their carriers out there, so they couldn't say, well, I found some cancer. Well, it's interesting to be in Cornwall for 2 years, $22. And Wall Street Journal offered me things, $1 or $2 a week.
Well, sure, yeah.
My favorite thing to do, particularly when I was working, is lunchtime, take the Wall Street Journal with me and sit there at lunchtime and read your boxes.
Real sociable. Yeah, you can. No, and I think that I still enjoy getting print publications. There are certain things, one of the magazines that I love to read just published a 30,000 word cover story. It is very difficult to read 30,000 words on your phone or your computer screen without your eyeballs falling out. So there are definitely times when print is better because you can absorb it and you can take it in. You can hand it to somebody else. You can cut out an article and send it to someone, which is crazy. And then you don't have to worry about getting hidden behind the paywall. So there's definitely value, and we see that value in the idea of print. Oh, the audio, yes. Yes, absolutely. I know we have a hard stop at 1. So I want to be cognizant of that. I think it's like 1 till. I was going to tell you all how to get in the paper, what you need to do in order to get in the paper. I'll just say this: do something important, let us know about it, send a picture, and make yourself available for interviews. Those are my big tips for how you can get your news into the paper. Is follow that, and don't expect us just to sort of psychically know about what you're doing at your organizations to raise that. Thank you very much.
So I will tell you from a library point of view, when the Boone County Recorder went out of business, they ceased publication. I heard from so many community members, how are we supposed to know what's happening locally? So we post a lot of links, articles on our Facebook page, trying to get local information out. And when we heard you had a print subscription, we probably bugged you a lot about how do we get it? How do we get it? Because our community wants it. So thank you. All right, yes. You want me to do that?
Yes.
All right. Ticket number 100. 100, you know, I didn't look at mine. All right. Ticket number 100 has the $25 Kroger gift card. As a reminder, next week we have Fiesta Northern Kentucky will be speaking. Julia is bringing Teresa Cruz in to talk with us. Anything else for the good of the group? All right, we're done.